suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
At 10:05, David Whiting is your talkback lawyer and he's taking your calls. 1300 222 774. We've got a little bit of homework to get through and also a question without notice in relation to some of the least powerful potential creditors who now might line up hoping to get their fair share out of the collapse of the Calombaris restaurant industry. See if we can get to that as well. David Whiting, good morning.
Good morning, Virginia.
But first item is an issue that we tried to deal with last week. And let me tell you, when our taxi driver called in and said, why was I booked for stopping at a not standing zone and letting my passenger who was on crutches out of the car, why was I booked? And you said you had no right to stop there. I can't tell you how many angry text messages I got about that. And basically, David Whiting, they said, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. There are two provisions in the road rules.
Yes.
And one relates to clearways and one relates to no standing zones. All right? Road rules 167 and 176. And I too had a series of emails. Well, was it 7 of them or 8 of them? No, don't ask me. The answer is that you can't stop in a no standing zone. But a taxi driver who is dropping off or picking up can stop in a clearway. So the email that I got and that you got was from a taxi driver who told me that the taxi driver was talking about a clearway and not a no standing zone. And
it seems counterintuitive to me.
What do you mean?
Well, you could stop. You can let off at a clearway.
You can let off at a clearway, but you can't let off in a no standing zone.
Say a clearway on Kings Way, right?
Yes.
During peak hour.
Yes.
3 lanes of traffic tearing southbound down Kingsway. Get out of my way. I'm heading home. You can drop off there, but a no standing zone you can't. That just seems counterintuitive.
My job's to explain it, Virginia, not to justify it. And I can tell you that it's clearway is you can drop off the driver of a public bus or a public minibus and the driver of a commercial passenger vehicle while providing that service.
Yep.
If dropping off or picking up. But on a no standing zone, it's I'm really very sorry, but no.
So
and the penalty is the same for both.
Turns out you do know what you're talking about there.
Well, no, I'm prepared to say that I'm often wrong. I just wasn't last week on that question.
I can't remember the last time you were wrong.
Yep.
The other issue I want to look at is the family court. I read this in the paper the other day. They've got a huge backlog of cases. So they're now about to embark on a grand sale. They're going to, all stock must go.
Well, it's mildly frightening. The Chief Justice of the Federal Circuit Court and the Family Court is not a family lawyer. Never. So it's been a long time. Before joining the bench, I don't know when he last did a family court case. But he and his deputy
an implied criticism there, David Whiting.
Beg your pardon? Never. They're listing 480 cases in Victoria to be dealt with in a blitz. And they're promising to list up to 50 cases a day. Now, it depends on what you read. If you read the press release, they're going to. It just seems to me that I would like a judge to have a proper understanding of my case, to give due consideration to it, and on those kinds of workloads, they're expecting to deal with my case in an hour.
Whoa.
Right, it's taken me 18 months to get here and you're going to knock me off in 50 minutes. It's just not. But on the other hand, if you read what the court says about it, it's more going to be in relation to scheduling. So you get to appear before a judge. Whether you get an outcome or not, I would really doubt. And I would really worry about, I know justice delayed is justice denied, but knocking me off in an hour is something I wouldn't be the least bit happy with.
You'd rather wait?
Yes.
And so in your estimation, there's no way that an hour is enough to deal with the majority or some of those cases?
No, there will be some. But you think about it, I would like the judge to have an understanding of the case before he hears it. So I've read the material. I would like the judge to hear whatever argument is there, and I would then like the judge to consider it.
On text, there are no standing zones. They don't exist anymore. They're called no stopping zones. Okay. I assume we're speaking about the same things.
We are
here.
indeed.
Okay,
yep.
We're being penance this morning, but that's all
okay.
right. And the DPP What's going on there?
Yeah, the DPP has filed an affidavit in what particular proceedings I'm not certain, where she says that she's accused senior police, including the Chief Commissioner, of misleading the High Court and the Supreme Court about the full history of its relationship with Nicola Gobbo. And
Yes.
it relates to the time at which she became an informer for the police. Because I think the suggestion was that in the High Court proceedings, the suggestion was she'd only been an informer for a relatively short period of time, and it was in fact a much longer period.
I think that affidavit should seek to establish just who else knew when, who knew what when in relation to Nicola Gobbo. That's the great unanswered question.
Yes.
And my suspicion is that the knowledge chain goes quite high up and also quite a long way back in time.
I'm sure it does.
Logically, it just has to.
Yes.
And we're talking here potentially about attorneys general plural and maybe other DPPs and all sorts of law officers.
I'm inclined to think that for a very large period of time, the Victoria Police kept this to themselves.
Are you?
Hmm.
Still reckon people knew.
Okay.
David Whiting is your talkback lawyer, and our number is 1300 222 774. And we've got a lot of calls coming in already, so we'll take them in order. Theodore is in Wanturna. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I talk to David for a
Far
moment?
away,
David
Theodore.
is here. Go right ahead.
Okay. David, for the sake of brevity, so that other people can hear it, I condensed my calls into shorthand. I contacted a solicitor to do some business for me. My signature was required by DFAT. He said, yes, I'm a specialist. Can you please give me $800 and I'll take care of it.
Yes.
This was in September 2019. 2 months later, I ring him and I hear that he has sold his business and that Bob is now in charge. I told Bob that the service is no longer required. Can I have my $800 back? He said, yes, I'll refund it. I ring him repeatedly, sent him emails, but the $800 is just still in his account. What can I do about it?
Have you spoken to the Legal Services Commissioner's office?
No.
Okay. The Legal Services Commission is able to deal with relatively small value consumer disputes, and you can contact them by phone to start with. There will be a form that I think they can probably do over the phone, and your claim is that you agreed on the fee for a service. You both agreed that the service wasn't to be supplied before any work was done by the lawyer, and the lawyer hasn't given you money back, and you will get an order from the Legal Services Commissioner.
Okay, the phone number, please.
Sorry, but if you look at Legal Services Commissioner on the net, you'll find them.
If you look that up online, Legal Services Commissioner, you should find the number. Good luck, Theodore. Hope that goes well. Andrew has called in from Broadford. Good morning.
G'day, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm just calling. We bought a used car from a dealership and it's just over 3 months old. Well, it's 5 years old, but just after 3 months after the dealership, and I think that's when
You had a 3-month warranty on your second-hand car, yes?
Yeah, I did that much looking around on the internet, I guess.
Yes.
Now, the problem that's happening is the media or the display in the centre console has stopped working after the battery went flat. So I did a bit of digging around. It looks like it's actually a not unheard of problem in that type of car.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone back to them, and the dealership itself wasn't any help, but they've suggested I contact the
manufacturer.
The manufacturer, yep.
Yes.
And at the moment, it's still with them. It's been with them for a couple of weeks while they're reviewing. And I'm just wondering, given that it's kind of a design fault, as it happens, I actually used to work in the automotive industry designing products for this manufacturer. Given that it seems like a design
Andrew,
fault,
I mean, from the dealer's point of view, you've got a warranty for a period of 3 months.
Yep.
From the manufacturer's point of view, how long do you expect the display to last?
Well, it's not something that would be a consumable item. It's kind of integral to the car. You can't use a reversing camera. You can't tell what the...
Yeah, no, I understand I understand the issue. There was a person who ran a case at VCAT over a GPS device that was provided by the car and whether one of the maps provided enough detail for one of the issues that they wanted.
Yep.
And they came along and said, well, I should get all my money back for the car because a very small portion of what it doesn't do anymore or never did. My problem would be I'm actually trying to assess what your loss is. Now, have you suffered one? Yeah, absolutely, right?
Yep.
But if you bought a new car, you might get a 4-year license, a 4-year warranty, or a 5-year warranty. There are some that are up to 7. I just really don't know that you're entitled to expect that it will continue to work after 5 years.
Even if the design requirement would be for a 10-year lifespan?
If you can find somewhere they promise that everything would work for a period of 10 years, then you have a claim against the manufacturer.
Okay, yeah, it's only that I've happened to work for that manufacturer and I know what their design life expectancy is.
I understand design life expectancy isn't the same as a warranty.
Yep, okay.
Is that going to make that conversation tricky for you given you work for that manufacturer?
I was through a third party, a manufacturer that sold on to them.
Okay.
So you could no difficulty with using that as part of your argument that you had an expectancy of 10.
Yep.
Thanks, Andrew.
Good on you.
Thanks
so much.
Okay.
Robert's called in from Kinglake. Hi.
Yes, good morning, Virginia. Good morning, David. I've got a question about a couple of rainwater tanks that I purchased in January 2004 for approximately just under $4,000.
Yes.
I've got a paperwork to say that I've got the company is going to give a 25-year fix or replace guarantee.
Yes.
And I contacted the company, and they're saying that they bought the business since I bought the tanks, and but they use all the contact information from that initial guarantee form that I've got.
Robert, the question will be who gave you the guarantee, not who handed over the piece of paper, but who made the commitment in the guarantee. If the guarantee is provided by the retailer, which appears to be the case, then you've still got a claim against the guarantor. If you got a guarantee from the manufacturer, because sometimes, say you buy a car, you get the manufacturer's guarantee, not the dealer's guarantee, your claim would come from the manufacturer. Now, they're liable under the guarantee. Now, the problem might be that somebody might have bought the business and taken over the name. So if I had 5 years ago come along and bought the retailer, bought the business of the retailer, then I wouldn't have any liability under the guarantee unless I bought the shares of the guarantor.
Right.
So you need to actually work out who gave the guarantee. If that company still exists, then they are bound by the guarantee and you're at liberty to make a claim at VCAT on the guarantee.
Oh, so I have to sort of pursue this through VCAT, do I?
Well, I would, because you're a consumer and there's a failure in one of the warranties they made at the time they sold you the goods.
All right.
How much did you end up start out paying?
It's $4,000 to start with, but they'd cost more now, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would.
Yes. Yep. That's where I'd start, Robert.
On average, how much do you end up spending at VCAT for a matter like that? On average?
The fee depends upon the amount that's in dispute. Robert's claim would be probably a couple of $100 in a claim fee.
Okay.
And if you are successful, then almost inevitably the fee that you pay at VCAT is added to whatever you're ordered to repay.
Okay. Jenny has called in from Moreland. Hi.
Oh, thanks, David, Virginia. I have a question about how to deal with an owners corporation that's not responding to requests to be notified of an AGM or for minutes of an AGM. I'm speaking with another lot owner. He also doesn't believe that we've been advised of an AGM or that any have happened in 3 years. I've looked at the Consumer Affairs website, but it appears to relate to owners corporations that are more recent than ours. This is a very, very old one. It's an old block of units built in East Brunswick in, I don't know, maybe the 1980s or 1970s, and I'm hoping you can give me some help.
You still have the benefit of the Owners Corporation Act and the regulations made thereunder. So you have the ability to make a claim in the Owners Corporation list at VCAT. if you've got a claim against the manager of the owners corporation or a dispute with the owners corporation generally.
So the Consumer Affairs website suggests Dispute Settlement Victoria and all sorts of other...
Well, they're all trying to get you to resolve issues as informally as possible. Dispute Resolutions Victoria is a fantastic organisation where they endeavour to get people to a dispute in the same room to see if there can be a solution reached. But if you think that do you have a professional manager of the owners corporation?
There is a professional manager who doesn't return calls or respond to emails.
Then your complaint is against the manager, and you can take a complaint against the manager to VCAT in the owners corporation list.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
David Whiting's number, and our number too is 1300 222 774 if you'd like your legal problem dealt with and some free advice handed out over the airwaves this morning. Lee's called in from Templestowe. Hi, Lee.
Yes, good morning, Virginia. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
Yes, look, I have a dilemma in as much as on the weekend I'm in a gem club and we wanted to purchase some rocks from Western Australia.
Yes.
And I looked up the trucking fees with a couple of services, and one of them seemed remarkably inexpensive, which I presume was probably going to be a backload. And on the basis of that, I then ran the rock shop where we're buying the rocks from and purchased the rocks, and then paid for the delivery of the rocks, the pickup and delivery of the rocks.
Yes.
Only to have them say on Monday, would I like my money back? And I said, no, I'm hoping to get the rocks, picked up in Western Australia on Friday and delivered sometime next week, which is on the details for the quote.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that their automated service quote service is grossly underquoted. They've charged me less than $100.
So how many tonne of rock, right?
It's less than a tonne of rock, but it'll be on a pallet, and it's going to be in 10, 20-litre containers wrapped
Can I just
up.
jump in and ask what your gem club does or needs the rock for?
Sure, Virginia. We cut and polish, we cab and we facet rocks.
Okay.
It's the Diamond Valley Gem Club. But
And what sort of gems, like semi-precious stones?
well, this is opalite, which is a type of opal,
Yep.
and it comes in all different colours. And
Is that
it's
sort of
beautiful.
like boulder opal?
No, Boulder Opal has a lot of ironstone in it, and
Right.
this is mainly the colour that you get in opal without the you could say chatoyance, which is the reflection that
Right.
comes through. But
Good word.
it is a wonderful word. But anyway,
Okay.
it has all the colour. But I have the dilemma now that I've also I've looked up other trucking companies and found that they are wanting in excess of 10 times the price to pick up and deliver it. So
Okay.
I'm not sure where I stand. I've said to
Lee,
the
you
trucking.
have an enforceable contract.
Well, I think so.
It's a question to me as to whether you want to take advantage of the misquote.
Well, I'd like to come to a compromise if possible, but we've gone and purchased the rocks on the belief that this is the right price,
Yes.
and we may not have purchased the rocks had we known it was going to be so much.
Lee, I'm
so expensive.
with you. My view would be that there's been an offer and acceptance. You probably have an enforceable claim.
Well, that's what I would have thought, but I'd like to think there was a moral obligation on our part to meet a little bit more of their costs, I suppose. But where we meet in the negotiations is the questionable thing, I think.
Well, I mean, you might say to the trucking company, well, if you buy the opal, I don't care.
Oh,
Right? So if you take over,
hadn't thought
that
of that.
contract,
yeah.
that's okay. But I don't want to get stuck with, if I just simply let you go, I've got to pay 10 times what I've agreed to pay you. Let's talk.
The only thing that I have noticed on their terms and conditions is that if it's not loaded with a forklift and the business we're buying it from doesn't have a forklift, they were intending on putting the pallet on the truck and then loading it and wrapping it up plastic and securing it, which will take a little bit of time. Then the trucking company says they'll charge us downtime for that, and we're quite willing to pay that.
Okay. Then I would start the negotiation.
Sounds like you might be able to reach a solution here. I do love that your gem club is called the Diamond Valley.
That's right.
Gem Club.
It is. Well, just a quick anecdote. We had just a promotion at a hardware store, and this lady came out and she gave me $5, and she said, "Here's for the good cause." And she said, "What's it for?" And I said, "Well, we're just raising awareness because we're having our show coming up soon, which is in May." And I said, "It's the Diamond Valley Gem Club," and she snatched it out of my hand and said, "You don't need that money."
Okay.
So we may call ourselves a lapidary club in future, I think.
I think that might do you better. That gem that you've got in your title seems to indicate you're all silver spoons, but clearly
That's
you're
right.
not.
We're not. No,
Good on
we're
you,
not.
mate.
Thanks very much.
Good to talk to you. Thanks so much. Who shall we go? The time is against us, so let's go to Steve, who's in Upper Ferntree Gully. Hi, Steve.
Hi,
Hi,
Steve.
Virginia. Hi, David. Nice to speak with you. Mine should be fairly quick. On the 28th of December, I was heading off to the Test match cricket, and unfortunately, I tripped on some uneven footpath, which was overfilled with quite a big rise of bitumen. Now, unfortunately, I broke my left patella, which I'm still recovering from. It had to be wired back together. I'm just wondering whether I have any sort of claim against the council.
Was this work they had recently done?
Look, they've put a lot of bitumen in where it's uneven because there's a nursing home not far away, and a lot of the elderly people use their jalopies to go along the footpath. So,
Steve, you do have a claim against council.
Okay. It is quite a big ridge there too, David.
Well,
so
and your argument will be that they have all the right to do the work, but they have to do it properly.
Yep,
So your rights are under the Road Management Act. But
I don't have any photos of the incident. I've taken photos of the actual offending piece of concrete or piece of footpath.
Oh, well, it's, you will be able to prove that it happened.
Okay.
Presumably you weren't on your own.
I was on my own at the time, yes, and I actually had started to jog because I was running late for the train. So I'm not sure whether that's.
I don't see that making any difference. If there's an unreasonable ridge, go for it. All right.
Okay.
Don't mention the jogging.
I want to be upfront.
No, I've got no difficulty with it. I suppose that to me it would be what's the size of the ridge.
Okay.
And if it's,
I've taken some photos and sent some information to the council. They haven't got back to me.
Okay.
So
good luck.
How do I put things in place? Or what would I start?
You might, if you were to get a lawyer to write to them, but I would be ringing up the council and saying, I haven't got a response.
You're right.
But they'll need to do an investigation and look at photographs and send somebody out. And one of the things you might ask them for an Freedom of Information application, asking them for details of the work they did on that stretch of road and when.
Sorry, what's that application called, David?
Freedom of Information application to council.
Freedom of Information.
Yes.
Yep.
Just to get some more information from
although
them
an FOI
and to focus them.
Yeah, but it's a long, hard way to go, and you don't actually get much joy, as we know as journalists these days, from FOIs. But that opening
Councils
letter
aren't quite as difficult as government departments.
Okay.
But
really?
it's a 6-week response time, so it's not
supposedly. Good on you. Good luck with that, David. Good to have you on. But before you go, this text has come through. I listen to David and enjoy his advice. He does, however, refer people to VCAT a lot, and I don't know how much he knows about the current situation at VCAT, but I took a painter to VCAT who painted my house, and the paint peeled off after a month and a half. It took me 2.5 years and ended up getting a pitiful amount of money and lots of trouble and lots of hearings. So VCAT is not straightforward. It's very, very difficult.
To me, it's about the money. It's a very large part of it is about the money. If you go to VCAT, is generally speaking a person acts for themselves. A person pays for their own representation. So if you lose, you're not going to get stuck with a cost order. If you win, you're not going to get your costs paid. It's a less formal process. There are no formal rules of evidence as there are in the magistrates' court. My view is that you will generally get a similar result. It will simply cost you a great deal less.
Sounds a little bit like Judge Judy. Like, summary justice there and then.
Absolutely.
Which you need sometimes. David Whiting, who very generously comes in here every week and offers you free legal advice. Don't look free legal advice in the mouth. It's the old gift horse, this one.